podcasting from Northwest Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Gen Extra Podcast, a show about Generation X, movies, technology, weird news, and anything else they feel like. Join them every Monday morning. Now, here's your hosts, Dave and Joe.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Gen Extra Podcast, all you little Gen Extra fans out there. That's my exciting
You have, I think, you have a trip coming up, apparently, right? Is that the news this week?
It's in the works, yeah. Oh, wait, were you talking about the cruise or something else?
No, not, I think more importantly, something we talked about on the show previously.
Yeah, Carrie and I are looking into going to the actual Florida Man games next year.
Now, if you recall, we talked about this, I don't know, what, maybe 6 months ago at this point? I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, it was a little while ago.
But our obsession with Florida Man stories continues here on the Gen Extra Podcast, as you will be attending live the Florida Man games. We should probably, you know what we should do? Should we do a quick revisit on what the Florida Man games are?
Yeah, actually,
just in case someone hasn't listened to that episode.
Yeah, I just brought up the episode, or not the episode, but the website. So the Florida Man games are held in Florida, in St. Augustine, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
The games are weaponized pool noodle mud duel, evading arrest obstacle course where they have actual police officers chase you. I think it's hilarious.
Just that's great, by the way.
Yeah, dude, there's a new one on here. It's called A Catalytic Converter, 2 Bikes, and a Handful of Copper Pipes Race Against Time.
Do you have to get it off
Yeah.
the car? That's the best.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Florida sumo wrestling. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of different stuff on here, man. There's a mullet contest, the Florida Ma'am pinup. Must be like some sort of contest. I don't know what that is, but chicken coop bingo. What is that? Oh, 2 chickens will decide whether you win or lose in this fun, dirty game inspired by our Floridian family in places like blah, blah, blah. Okay. I don't know how that's played, but interesting. 911 fight night brawl of the badges.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. So we're looking forward to it. My wife's brother lives in Florida. So we're going to kind of wrap around a trip of visiting with him and checking out the games. I told them about it when they were visiting for around the holidays.
Yeah.
And him and his wife were like rather excited about it. They were intrigued. So since they were so excited, we're like, well, we need to make this happen. So yeah, we're going to go.
I just think that's great because when we originally had reviewed, this is definitely a thing. We had joked about it on that episode, whatever it was, 6 months, a year ago, about actually going to this thing.
Well, yeah, because we are going to be in Florida when the first Florida Man games happens in a few weeks or something like that, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is.
And I think that's great. This is like the first one too. Like this is the inaugural Florida Man games, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but unfortunately the timing wasn't going to work out to when we got there and to when we had to like leave the next morning. So we're like, it's just going to be too much to try and do while we're there. So we decided, not to do that, but next year we're going to go for it. So, but yeah,
wait. Sorry. I think I just confused myself and the audience. You're not going to get to the first one?
No, we are not going to the inaugural, how do you say that?
Inaugural
Florida Man games. No, we're going to be in Florida, but we're not able to go.
Okay.
So we're going to the next one, the second annual.
You're going to the next.
Yes.
So you're going February of 2025.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So sorry, folks. It's a little ways off.
Yeah. So I'll report back in like a year.
I mean, we'll
be talking all about it. Yeah.
To the show for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just kind of bury that for a bit and I'll bring it back up next year.
I just want to mention at the Florida Man games too, which, hey, you know what? There might even be some good videos of this year's competition online when it's done. Who knows? But the 2 judges, this is so interesting. This is a real Gen X-y fact right here. The 2 judges for the competitions, for the different events are Ice and Nitro from American Gladiators.
Nice. Yes. Dude, I used to love American Gladiators. Do you remember the big tennis ball gun?
Yes. And remember being whatever, a teen or a kid at the time and just being like, I could do that.
Oh yeah.
I always wanted to go on American Gladiators.
Yeah. like I so badly wanted to be the person firing the tennis balls at somebody.
Oh, the tennis ball cannon looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it just, and like I would just love to imagine if you and your friends could have a chance at the American Gladiators horses, the events for like an afternoon.
Oh, that'd be the best. They should really rent that out for the public. There'd be some major waivers.
Oh yeah. And it would be especially the one where, do you remember there was an event where like you started on the outside with a ball and you had to run it into the middle of the court and dunk it into one of the baskets, and the gladiators would just absolutely maul.
Oh, dude, just destroy
people trying to get. Oh, it was great though. Everything about it was great.
They should really bring that show back.
I think they're trying to do something with it again. I thought I this is not a fact or whatever, but I thought I saw something to the effect that the studio, one of the studios or NBC or something, was trying to bring some version of it back. I mean, they've had things like American Ninja and other things, I think.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's just one obstacle.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And if you do want to get your fix on American Gladiators, there's actually a really good, I think, I apologize, I think it's Netflix, actually has a documentary on it and how behind the scenes, how messed up it was, which surprise, right?
I've heard about that. Yeah, I think I might actually check that out. It'd be interesting to watch.
So
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, with the, with all that said, that kind of inspired the last segment of this episode coming up, which is we've called it Fake or Florida. So actually one of our listeners, Andrew, told us online, might have been a comment or something, but he mentioned that would be a fun game to play. So I put one together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
we're actually gonna do it this week. Fake versus Florida.
Yes.
Fake or Florida.
Yeah,
right?
Fake or Florida. But yeah, actually, before we jump into what's the beginning of the show going to be, Joe?
So speaking of this week, this is the fourth week of our new rotational format. This is the fourth and final week of the rotation. So after this week, we go back to our rotation from week one. But this week is segment number one is What's the Point? And if you remember that's where Dave and I pick out a topic or topics that, we don't really quite, don't understand the craze, or we don't understand like the
meaning,
the meaning, or what's the point of even this object or this consumer product, right? Or this thing. So that's what we're doing with What's the Point? The second segment of the show is going to be a technology segment. This week, we're actually doing a follow-up on self-driving cars. I think 2 years ago, we did a segment on the Waymo experiment out in Arizona, which is a completely autonomous self-driving vehicle. And since then, there's been an explosion of self-driving cars, including, I think General Motors and Tesla and some various other models. And I'm going to do a follow-up on where self-driving cars are today. And then the third segment is what Dave, you already mentioned, which is a game, this is kind of an open segment. Dave and I are just going to use this to slot in whatever we feel like at the end of the 4-week rotation. And this week we're doing a game.
Yeah. It's a question mark. It's the whatever we feel like throwing in this spot.
Yeah. We had to have one question mark somewhere in the rotation so we could slot in other things.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, before we jump into the what's the point, I wanted to mention that my wife and I, we attempted to watch Oppenheimer.
Attempted?
We did. We put in a valiant effort.
Man, I don't know where this is going. I can't wait to see this movie because it looked
amazing. Like, it did. Like, we were really pumped. Now, we weren't super excited about the 3.5 hour runtime. Yeah. But I was like, let's just suck it up. It's probably going to hold your attention and you're not even going to know it's been 3.5 hours. So we're like, I don't know. We were probably a half an hour into it and we're both kind of like looking at each other. And I'm like, okay, like certainly this is going to pick up, right? It'll start making more sense here soon, right? Well, we made it to the hour and 20-minute mark.
Okay.
And we decided that was enough. It didn't ever, in my opinion, like take me through like into the story to where I was like so engrossed in it. And I couldn't wait to see what happened. They were literally just dragging on pretty much the same topic for an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay.
And the way that they did it, like most movies are structured, kind of linear in a way. I mean, not that it wasn't linear, but it was so jarring the way that it was cut together. And it was just one scene after another. It was like they were in a lab. They were like someone's house. And then they were like a ball, like a formal dance or something. And then they were in a car and they're it kept jumping from place to place to place. Mm-hmm. all they were doing was just trying to punch in all these points that they felt like they had to make, in conversation. And it was too much for me to like really grab a hold
for you.
No, like I just didn't like it. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
oh man, I have to watch it now. I have to watch it immediately because that sounds awesome to me.
I wanted to love this movie. Like,
The story of the atomic bomb fascinates me. And I guess it's like one of those, I haven't seen it yet, so I may have the same opinion when I'm done, but like the more details they add to the story of the creation of the atomic bomb really excites me. So it's like, I want to see this pacing issue that you've talked about now.
maybe I'm just not the audience for that because like I need more something, and I don't even know what to call it. It just wasn't structured enough for me in a way. Like, I don't know. Because I don't want to give much away from what we saw. So I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I would just say if you're interested in watching it, man, just be ready to be bored.
You know what it is though, and I've heard this from other people. Oppenheimer is a movie for physics and movie nerds, like people that want to see this. And I haven't seen it myself. This is just the way I've seen it described, similar to what you're saying. If you want to see the details and the life of Robert J. Oppenheimer and him creating the atomic bomb, or him and actually the whole entire project, Albert Einstein, everyone else in between, it's going to be something you like. It doesn't sound like it resonated with you.
No, it didn't. I'm sure it got really good. We just had to bail. I was done. I mean, look, if you want something for the physics nerds and, other nerds, just make a documentary and have them watch that. But as far as
that already exists too.
Well, then watch that. As far as the film goes, man, just Hollywood that up so everyone can enjoy it.
You're on an island on this one, right?
I know.
You're probably the only. This is what I love about the show too. You are literally the only negative opinion I have ever heard about this movie.
Now, if I started this movie at an hour in and didn't see anything leading up to that point, I probably would have been further ahead because I would have committed myself to what I'm assuming to where the movie got good.
I mean, you do realize at some point they create the atomic bomb, right?
I do, yeah. But it didn't grab me enough to care anymore. I was done. I was done with it.
You know what you should do? This is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I want you to go back to that movie because I'm going to watch it now too. In fact, I am going to watch it before the next show now. Now
okay.
You have me.
Right.
And I want you to go to a halfway point of that movie.
Okay.
And I want you to start it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the movie.
I'd probably enjoy it more. I would. Like I said, the first half of the movie was just a snooze fest for me. And my wife, like I wasn't alone. Neither one of us could take it anymore. She fell asleep a couple times. I'm like, hey, wake up. And yeah, she's like, I'm sorry. She's like, this is just boring me to death.
Yeah, I think it is true what they say though, that it is a movie for people who are interested in the subject area, one, and are probably appreciate the life aspect a little bit more of Robert J. Oppenheimer as not so much the. It's actually not. It's not a movie I've heard that is like rah USA built the bomb and then we bombed Japan. That's not what the movie is trying to get at. The movie is trying to be a detailed recounting of how they got there, not like we got to get an atomic bomb and drop it on Japan, before they do, you know what I mean, or before someone else does. That's not what the movie really focuses on.
Yeah, I know, but it just seemed to me, and we'll get past this here in a second, but it felt like somebody sat down and had an interview with Oppenheimer, and they were just recapping like all these different, like, oh my God, yeah. Then we were at this one place, and I talked to this one guy about this thing, and then like a few months later, I met up with these other people at this convention, and we kind of struck, we talked about this and this and this, and they're like, okay, great, yeah, we'll put that in the movie, and that's just what they did, like beat for beat. They just went through all these recollections of conversations and just made them movie points. Like I didn't like it.
It's more of a, okay, you know what though? I think that's a good point. It's honestly, and I've seen it described the same way you're saying it. It's more of a biography than it is a dramatized version of the atomic bomb. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, they just lost me. That's all. I would like to see.
It is called Oppenheimer.
Or it's not called Boom Boom, like nuke.
Boom goes the bomb, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just expected it to be a
Well,
little.
I will have an
better.
update on my version next Friday.
You know you're gonna love it. You're gonna be ranting
I'm
and
going to
raving
tell you how
good it was.
amazing it was.
But I want your honest opinion about the first half. Let me know how.
I do.
I want you to tell me how, if I was right in the way I was feeling about it.
Hey, there is something that I just watched. I admit there is something I just watched. I don't want to go to details of it here just because we'll waste too much time. But I had the same opinion about it that you have about kind of Oppenheimer right now, where I was like, why'd the first half even exist? So I know what you mean.
What movie was
You're
that?
not. It was something. It was actually it was a series of shows on Netflix, and they didn't even need the first like 5.
Oh, that happens a lot. Yeah.
They could have started from like 6 through 10. And it would have been made much more sense. But I don't want to get into it here because it's just going to drag us down another rabbit hole.
That's true. It definitely will. So, all right, let's jump into what's the point, Joe? What are we going to gripe about?
So today we're griping about this, and I did not know about this, and now that I do know about it, I feel even stronger about the whole what's the point aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, before I start and get into it, are you aware of the Stanley water tumbler craze that's going on right now?
Oh, I am, yes.
How did you find out about this absolutely ridiculous phenomenon?
I saw it on social media somewhere, a YouTube video or TikTok or something. But there was this craze happening where people were lining up like freaking Black Friday as whatever store it was, Walmart or whoever was selling these things. I think
it was Target was doing a big one, if I remember.
This big, cutting open of the pallet of Stanley cups. And people were going crazy buying these things and just snagging them up. I'm like, what the hell's the big deal here? And then to find out they're expensive too.
Yeah. I want to back up and give the audience, just in case they're not aware of this. Right now, Stanley, the mug and cup making company, and I think they make some other things too.
Stanley makes tools.
Yeah, they make tools. They make other kitchen appliances, I think.
Yeah, but mostly from like that I recall, they are a tool company. Like
they're a 111-year-old company of providing
stuff,
sturdy things. Yeah, sturdy things, right?
Did they ever have their hand in the cup market before this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have. They've been making tumblers forever. Okay. Apparently.
All right.
So it says
I probably have one. Didn't realize it.
This is the Stanley brand. It's a 111-year-old company with a vaunted history. This is from Vox.com. Vaunted history of providing sturdy, insulated beverage containers to the likes of World War II pilots and blue-collar American men. That's where they built kind of this whole Stanley water tumbler history from.
Okay.
But apparently it's coming back around again. And I just don't, I'll just say it. What's the point?
Ah, yes, the name of the segment.
Right. I want somebody, because I'm reading all these articles on the Stanley tumbler, and I'm seeing these videos of people rushing into stores when they crack open the pallet and they put it out there. I want somebody to explain to me, what is it with it? Maybe do you have one of these Stanley water tumblers?
Not the new one. No. Like I said, we may very well own a Stanley something cup, but not one of these new ones. No. I just don't understand, what is the draw? Like, is it just good marketing that they, limited time only, limited rush of, product that was put out, whatever it is. They put a high dollar value on it with limited quantity.
Is it the allure? Yeah. Are they selling them in limited quantities?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it the design? Because it does look rather big. So I don't know. I don't know why people wanted it so bad. They're willing to pay upwards of like $75, I think I saw, for a damn cup.
I mean, here's the way I saw someone put it online. And I think this is rather comical. They're like, I don't get the rush to buy what is basically a giant metal adult sippy cup.
It pretty much, yeah, exactly. It is, yeah. I mean, that's how most of them are anyways. But does this thing do something different? Is it, how like certain coolers, like they'll keep your food cold for days?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, does this thing keep your drink cold forever or hot? Like, I don't understand.
USA Today says today.com. Like the Today Show? Mm-hmm. The Today Show did an article on the Stanley, I'll call it the Stanley Sippy Cup Rush. This is what they claim, okay? And I'm going to read something to you. And I would like to know, maybe from the audience, maybe when folks hear this, write in the comments, if you have one of these things, explain to me how this is different than almost every other water tumbler or insulated beverage cup. So it says, much of the popularity comes from its large size, Okay, which I think is actually kind of annoying.
Right.
You ever, especially I drive a stick. You ever try driving a stick with a large cup in the console? It's not happening.
No, I mean, they're too big anyways.
Well, I know, but and it's so, and
the
that's
regular
what drives
size
some
ones
of
are
it.
too big.
Yeah, it comes from its large size and ability to keep drink cold for hours. How is that different than every other water tumbler?
I don't know. I did see a video where they cut the top off of a Culligan jug, and then
Wait, you mean a giant Culligan jug?
Yeah, and they covered it in like tin foil and wrote Stanley on it. They were making fun of it. Yeah, dude, it's absurd. Like I said, I don't get it. There's some creative marketing that happened that made people really want to get this. Maybe that just shows how gullible of a society we are as consumers. Like we saw this cup that is obviously way overpriced and that has nothing to offer that all the other cups already offer, and people are just willing to just go dump almost $100 on it. Like, it's absurd.
Well, yeah, and you know what I think some of this is, and you see this with consumer products a lot. How much of it is just turning into the Stanley tumbler competition to like get the newest one, right?
I guess.
I mean, this is getting to the point where people are taking like photos and putting them up on like Instagram and Facebook. Like, look at the newest model that I got.
Yeah, the rare, like Beanie Babies. They put out really limited quantities of a certain design, and I'm sure that's a kind of an older example, but I'm sure other companies do the same thing too. They just, like I said, they create this limited quantity craze where people just want like I said, the latest and greatest one, the most unique one.
Right, that's what I think is driving some of this, and I think that makes it even worse in this case than like the whole. I remember what you're talking about, like with the Beanie Baby craze or any of these collectible crazes that comes up. Arguably, if you look at these Stanley water tumblers, most of them look almost identical.
Yeah,
like that palette. Remember that video, the one that comes from Target, and them taking off, like them putting the display in the middle of the store, and all these people are rushing in to tear these Stanley tumblers off the display. There's nothing different about those tumblers than there was in Stanley's last model.
No, could you imagine, like, if you walked into a Target, Joe, and you grabbed yourself a cup, and you, not even that, like, just if there's a selection of cups, these tumblers on a shelf, okay, and you see one for $12, $15, maybe $20.
Yeah.
And then you see this one for $75.
Did you find one for $75?
I saw one online for $75. I don't know if it was like one of them, like, special edition, unique ones, but yeah, I saw them for like $50.
Yeah, I see that. I see they get up. You can find them from like $30, $40, $50. That's crazy. Sorry, go ahead. Continue your thought.
Like, is there any part of you that would ever look at that cup and grab it and go up to the register and pay like I said, $50, $75 for a stupid cup?
I don't think so. Like, I can't imagine. Okay. So it's kind of a little background on this. I don't know how you are, but I'm already kind of like, I don't want to say irked, but that's not the right word. I'm already kind of mystified as to the water tumbler drinking craze in this country to begin with.
Oh, me too.
Like, right. At work, most people have like 3 different, like, it's not even Stanley ones. They have like 3 different water tumblers on their desk. And I'm like, what? Are we running out of water and we're storing it? Like, What is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've seen so many videos of guys making fun of like their wives because like the guy gets in the car and he literally has like a ceramic coffee cup in his hand from the cupboard.
Yeah.
And the girl she's got like 3 tumblers. One that's got her iced coffee. One's got her regular coffee. One's got her water.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to find every place she can to put one. Yeah. I think it's driven more, and no offense, but I think women are the bigger consumers of these cups, not just the Stanley Cup, but just tumblers in general.
There's a demographics. I mean, we can make a demographics argument without being insulting. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the demographics of the thing, right? They know who their target audience is.
I think it's girls. Seriously, like no offense, but I think the girls just like them more than guys do. I think girls can maybe wrap their heads around these cups and designs more than a guy can. Guys just don't care about that kind of stuff.
Well, look at this. Look at these charms. Like, you can buy charms for your Stanley Cup. You can buy a separate carrying bag for your Stanley Cup.
If you have to have a bag
I
for
know.
your cup, it's too big.
I mean, right. At the point where you're carrying an extra bag to carry the cup, which should fit in your hand, but now it fits in your bag, which is slung over your back.
Yeah. Like you just shove a bottle in your back pocket. That's what I'll do. My goodness.
I guess maybe the best way to close out today is I don't understand the point of the Stanley
Me neither.
water tumbler craze. I do not connect with it.
No, but to each their own. If you are a fan, you've already purchased one, or you want one, go for it, man.
I hope it's awesome. I hope every drop of water tastes even better.
Yeah, but as you're sipping out of it, just know right here on the Gen Extra podcast, we don't get it. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on to your next bit, Joe, because we could keep ranting and raving about that the whole show.
I know we need like a technology intro. Like a sound of like a satellite. Like they have like the sound of the satellites as it like goes around the earth, like that beep 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 beep. Like we need that for like a technology intro.
We do, and I don't think I don't think I have anything like that.
Segment. Well, that's okay because we can just keep getting better. It's okay.
Or what about here? I'll play something for you. Here we go.
Technology.
There you go.
Intro to our technology segment. Yeah. So I want to take viewers back a little bit. I think it was a couple of years ago or whatever. I talked about something, and we talked about something that really took me by surprise. It was this Waymo. Waymo's the name of the company. Waymo was doing an experiment in Arizona. And just to do a quick recap is that they have completely in Arizona and actually San Francisco, California now. I forget where in Arizona. I apologize. Tempe, Arizona. It looks like Tempe, Arizona, maybe. Chandler, Arizona. A bunch of different cities in Arizona and San Francisco, California. Waymo has a fleet of completely driverless, autonomous taxis. So just to kind of do a quick recap, these things are real. They are out there. You can order them. You could be standing on the side of the street in San Francisco or a couple different cities in Arizona. You can order one on an app. It'll pull up. It'll pick you up. It will take you to where you want to go, and you get out. So this is not like a fake science fantasy kind of thing. These things are real. They're out there.
Yeah.
And we talked about them like 2 years ago. And I just kind of wanted to revisit where we were today, because since those 2 years have gone by, and then Dave, I don't know how much you keep up with this, but since this couple of years have gone by, there has also been, I don't want to say an explosion, that's not the wrong word, but there's also been an increase in the number of regular consumer cars. Like you go out and you buy a Tesla, or you buy, I think, a Chevy or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of them come with self-driving technology in them now, which is not exactly what the Waymos do. They're a little bit more sophisticated. But some of the consumer vehicles now also come with self-driving technology. Have you seen any of this or ever been in a car with one before?
I have not, no, but I've seen them online where I don't know if they navigate beyond highway. Like I think they're just, it's like a glorified cruise control where it kind of keeps you in the lane.
Yeah.
Which is great and all, but I think it's just inherently bad. Like as far as like people are just going to fall asleep. They're going to be watching, TikTok videos while they're driving.
Yeah.
So I don't like, I love the idea as far as like the convenience of it. I think it'd be great, but I just don't love the possibilities of how treacherous it could be with accidents and, people just literally sleeping behind the wheel.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point there, because like Tesla, for instance, and I might pick on Tesla a little bit here. I'm trying not to single them out, but they're a good example of this. They've been really bullish on their own self-driving technology. So for this conversation, I need to split this conversation to two different points. There's the personal self-driving vehicles that you might get in a Tesla, and then there's the Waymo stuff. And I'm going to touch on the Waymo stuff second. First, I'm going to bring it back to the personal self-driving stuff. Long story short, to kind of keep the segment, condensed into something that we can digest, what you actually get at is kind of what they're starting to run into now, is that all of the self-driving technology that a lot of the car makers wanted to have in their vehicles right now has never really extended past the, oh, this is kind of neat, look what it can do phase.
Right.
Like it can keep me in these lanes, or it can get me from this one side of my neighborhood to the other. And this is years past, like, say, where Tesla wanted to be at this point. Tesla wanted full self-driving cars already.
Right.
And surprise, surprise, we're not quite there yet. And I watched this one independent journalist on YouTube. This is really interesting to me because I did not know this. I thought they were a lot better than this. But his name's Ben Jordan. So if anyone wants to like double check what I'm saying here or go out and watch it, Ben Jordan is an independent, call it just what do you want to call it, a YouTube journalist, right?
Mhm.
There's 100,000 of them these days, right?
Yeah.
He has a lot of money, so he has money to spend on just doing his own experiments and stuff. He basically started to look into the topic more for this is like the personal self-driving stuff. And he took the time to set up like road courses for his self-driving Tesla and give it different challenges and stuff. And it sucks. It plowed over like multiple children.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. He set up like people in the road and stuff in his experiment. And it's just not good. And here I'm sitting here saying like, this really took me by surprise because I thought by this point the personal stuff was better than this. You know what I mean? Did you think that the personal stuff, the personal self-driving stuff was better than this at this point?
Okay. I mean, I appreciate his tests, but in the real world, how many people have Teslas actually run over? Like maybe it's just not recognizing. I mean, it shouldn't run it over anyways, but
well, the Teslas actually don't have a great track record right now in the real world.
Okay.
They have,
right. So maybe he's on to something. Okay.
They have gotten into some snafus as of late. Some of that can be blamed on Tesla's refusal to go to LiDAR. So that was one thing that Tesla doesn't want to do. They don't want to go to LiDAR.
Right, which is like Waymo's use LiDAR.
Correct.
Yeah.
When I shift gears to the second part of this conversation, which is kind of the flip side of this, a lot of the self-driving stuff in our personal cars isn't as good as the Waymo stuff, and that seems to be holding it back.
Yeah, well, the LiDARs are like, it's a bigger system. Like it requires more things on the car.
It does. And Tesla was like, we don't want to, it's just going to make the cost of the car go up.
Yeah, and make it look, ugly.
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't want to, there's probably ways to get it in there appropriately, but maybe not easily. You know what I mean? Like to not make it look ridiculous. But it was just disappointing to me because I remember we talked about this 2 years ago. I was a little more bullish on it. And then after I looked up a lot of the more recent reports on some of the, it's not just Tesla either, but like where self-driving is with our personal vehicles. It's just unfortunately today, it being January 28th, 2024, we're not there yet. And it's going to need more time.
Yeah, I'm trying to look and see if there's any reports on how many accidents have been the fault of automated cars.
It is a little bit difficult to get to this reporting because Tesla,
I can't find it really.
Tesla properly, maybe improperly, I don't know, maybe it's their right. They try to keep as much of it out of the courts and inside private litigation as possible. I mean, think about this. A Tesla plows someone over.
Oh, they're settled. They're settling right out of court.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's not like it happens every day. And we're still millions of miles statistically away from where we have with consumer cars, which have billions of miles of statistics and testing on them, right? I mean, it's a different world right now. But it was just disappointing to me that we seem to be behind the curve, especially in regards to like the personal self-driving stuff.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They've been trying to make. I'm trying to think. Is the purpose of the self-driving car, is the end result supposed to be a convenience or is it supposed to be safety? Like, is it a safer drive when I know it's hard to compare right now because the numbers are so different from human drivers to automated drivers.
Right.
It's hard to compare. But, like, is the human being ultimately more dangerous behind the wheel than an automated, driving system?
That's actually a really good question. And this, if people want to go check out the video, go ahead. But there's lots of other articles on this too. But that's a question that this Ben Jordan poses. And interestingly enough, the conclusion that he comes to is that we're trying to get to the personal self-driving vehicle the wrong way. So think about it this way. What car makers are doing right now is they're just trying to take self-driving vehicles and jam them onto human streets with other human beings making decisions, with people doing dumb things like walking out in front of you, with dogs running out in front of you, with construction vehicles missing a turn and backing into the street or something like that. We're trying to create self-driving vehicles that adapt to human streets. And what his point is that, are we doing this incorrectly? Should the entire point of self-driving vehicles be more like an HOV lane?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like highway.
Exactly. You put your self-driving car in an HOV lane where there are no other there's no random. There's a minimize. Okay, you can't take out all random occurrences.
Right.
But you minimize random events. And the self-driving vehicle, when it gets to its destination or the end of that self-driving lane, goes back into human mode because that's really the only thing that makes sense. That's his kind of proposal. We're designing this incorrectly.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what he's saying there. Yeah. It shouldn't be designed to be automated for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you're like, okay, example, the other day, we live out in the country here. So I was heading down a dirt road back home from town. And there was a car coming down the dirt road the other direction. And as it passed by me, there was a woman walking her little white poodle. I saw her, but she didn't see me.
Mm-hmm.
And she walked behind the car as it passed her with her dog because she, like I said, didn't see me, but she only heard that car and just literally walked right out in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I slowed down and I'm almost at a complete stop.
Jeez.
And she's just still right there in front of me, walking away from me down the dirt road.
Yeah,
so
like just oblivious, right?
Yeah. And I just I drive out around her real slow and kind of wave at her. And she's like, "Oh, sorry, didn't hear you or see you there." But like, in those situations on a dirt road, like would an automated car respond correctly? I don't know. Like maybe, but I don't know.
One of the Tesla cases that's currently, I can't remember if this was, I apologize, I don't want to look it up right now, waste a lot of time. It's either in litigation or it's going to court, is where a Tesla vehicle, its autonomous driving system, saw somebody, stopped for a moment, and then went through them.
Oh gosh, okay.
Like it was like, oh, I see something, never mind, and then continued on. So it's like, you actually bring up a really good point there. In most cases, the cars do seem to be trying to make the right decision, but then something happens. And it's usually due to some real environmental impact, whether the cameras lost sight of the person in the background, whether it's the cameras didn't pick up on the difference in the object, like contrast, that kind of thing.
Here's what I think is going to be the biggest issue. There's going to be wrecks. There's going to be crashes. They're never going to have this 100% perfect.
Right. Nothing can ever be 100%. Right.
Yeah. I think this is the issue. When you have a scenario where a car, you're blows through an intersection and, T-bones somebody, the variable in this situation was poor judgment or a distracted driver, whatever it may be, the human element. All right. When you have that same situation happen and it was the automated car's fault, it is now a much, much bigger problem than the singular problem that it was before, which was one human being making a mistake.
That's such a good point, because that's such a good point to make about that.
Because it's not just that incident. And it's all automated cars. It's like Russian roulette when you get behind the wheel. Like, what's my car going to do? Is it going to screw up? Like, you're putting your life in the hands of computer programming. We probably do that a lot more than we even realize, but it's scary.
It's in a situation though where
it's out of your
variables
control.
Are so high. Like you can read this at the Washington Post. The situation that you're talking about is exactly what happened to this poor guy in a Tesla last year. His self-driving car plowed right through a tractor trailer and he died.
Not his fault.
Right. And now the litigation, to your point made earlier, now it's no longer, well, you know how like there's some highway statistic, some highway statistic, I forget what it is. It's like 90% of like highway accidents are humans' fault, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like it's us, okay? We're the problem. It's like a Taylor Swift song. So Taylor Swift,
I'm the problem.
It's me.
Yeah.
But now when you get into self-driving occurrences, now you have litigation and programming errors and developers to talk to and manufacturers to call. It explodes the problem 100-fold.
Yeah, because they're not just worried about unfortunately, if that happens with a human, it's kind of one and done, assuming it wasn't like a mechanical error.
Mechanical fault or something, which it rarely is.
Right. And that's the end of it. The situation sucks and, people may have gotten hurt or killed, but it's done. again, happens with an automated vehicle. Now, like you said, it's a bigger logistic problem because they have to figure out what happened.
Right. You're dragging in the NTSB, you're dragging in programmers, you're looking at code.
Yeah, it's firmware updates. Like, oh, we got to update your car. We found a bug, that plows through, parades by accident.
The parade bug.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's screwed up. And is it open for hacks? Like, could somebody hack your car?
Yeah, that's another big thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't love it. Like you said, I think if they can just isolate it to localized like sensors on your car, and they even have like, for highway driving, but they even have stuff too where if you're not paying attention, there's cameras in your car that look at your eyeballs.
Yeah. All right. And it's beeping, and yeah, they have some of the newer cars have sleep deprivation control now.
Yeah. Like, you're sleeping, you're falling asleep, get off the road.
It starts pulling over, or alarms start going off to wake you up.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. Maybe but again, like I said, it's never going to be perfect. I don't know. I think society is leaning too hard on technology for certain things, and it's too risky, from my opinion. It's too risky.
Let me leave this conversation on a more positive note.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, the Waymo experiment has actually this comes from Ars Technica as of December. In January, there was an update. Some people in San Francisco are really mad about this, and they're trying to sue to stop it. The Waymo experiment has actually been broadly successful. 7 million miles. So remember, Waymos are a little bit different than the self-driving technology in consumer automobiles. The Waymos are overly cautious. They're slow. They have multiple cameras and multiple LiDAR systems attached to them. If you ever see one, it's kind of a monstrosity.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like bubbles and stuff on it. And
yeah, it's ridiculous looking, and that's probably a good thing.
Sure.
The other side of the story is that when these self-driving companies put a ton of time and attention into being overly cautious to producing something that will default to being safe as default, rather than trying to just keep you in the lane or just slow down when it thinks it's time to slow down. 7 million miles, only 3 injuries, and those 3 injuries are all multi-car issues. None of them are like the Waymo plowed through someone's dog.
Right.
So
yeah,
the side of this is that it does look like the technology is coming along when it's treated differently.
Do you think the biggest thing here is, and then we'll jump off into our last bit here.
Yeah.
Waymo's goal is to create a fleet of self-driving taxis, self-driving Ubers, essentially.
Right.
That's their goal, to drive people autonomously, like to their destination.
Right.
Tesla, no offense to Tesla, their goal is to make a really, really nice, luxurious electric vehicle that also self-drives.
Yeah. No, one thing you learn in project management, because that's what I do, is that your project outcome very much depends on what your stated goal is, right?
Yeah.
If your stated goal is to be a taxi service with an utmost preference for delivering your person from point A to point B alive, you're going to default to a system that works for that purpose.
Right. Not that looks good.
Yeah. And it's not, again, picking on Tesla, but they're not the only one that's trying to create self-driving technology that is like a quarter of the way there.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of stories where all these self-driving cars go without incident and they're fine, but like I said, you get a handful of them and you really start, scrutinizing it and you're afraid of it. Like personally, like I wouldn't want to drive in a car that was self-driving at this point.
If someone in town wanted to have their Tesla driving from point A to point B, I'd be like, can you drive or can I drive?
Yeah.
A Waymo, I would
jump in a Waymo. Yeah. I'd feel safer in a Waymo.
Knowing
that's what they do.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point though.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was interesting, man. I'm glad you brought that back around.
Good conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll revisit that in a couple more years.
Yeah. Right. After either it gets better or it gets worse.
Yeah. Like they've taken over the world.
We never saw it coming.
Yeah. All right. So let's we'll finish up the show here with my Florida Man game, which is calling Faker Florida. So the first thing, Joe, I actually want to talk about a real story from Florida, and then I'll give you the I'll give you the list of real or fake.
Okay, so wait, how is this going to work?
Well, I actually wanted to read one to you. It is real.
Okay, so this is the first thing you're talking about is a verified real thing that has happened.
Yeah. So this was on, just down here. Oh, it's on HuffPost. Okay. It says Florida man sues Duncan over injuries following a toilet explosion.
Oh no, there's a lot of things going on in this one. What is it with you and toilets?
I don't know. I just thought this is interesting because the last thing you would think if you were stopping in a donut shop to use the restroom is the toilet would blow up.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
No. How does it even blow up? Like, really?
I don't know.
It's got one function. I don't know. And they actually don't get into it. I read through the article and it says an employee told the man that they were aware of, quote, the problem with the toilet.
Wait, they were?
Yeah, something was malfunctioning with this toilet. And he said there's been previous instances or incidents. Yeah.
Yeah, previous incidents with the toilet.
Yeah, so a customer has filed a negligence lawsuit against Duncan, claiming he was injured by an exploding toilet at one of the coffee chain's locations in Central Florida. He wants $100,000 because he suffered from severe long-term injuries. It says he was covered in human waste, urine, debris. So this doesn't sound like so much an explosion like the toilet literally exploded into pieces. It sounds like the water, if you can call it that, the sewage is coming back up through the toilet. Suffered bodily injury. Yeah, so I'm assuming, like I said, literally in this article, it doesn't say that the toilet like legit like blew up. Like, so I think it blew straight up with the water.
Straight up, yeah.
Which is odd. I don't even know how it would do that. I don't know how to get that much pressure.
I can't. It's Florida, so who knows?
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Watch sitting on them toilets in your local fast food places.
Your local. It was a local Dunkin'.
Yeah, local Dunkin'.
Damn.
So all right, Joe. So we're on to the game though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you headlines from different articles. Again, some real, some fake. I want to see if you can sniff out the fake ones.
Okay, so you're just going to read the article, the headline.
The headline, yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you real or fake. You're not giving me like 2 or 3 of them or something like that.
No.
Okay.
No. All right, so here you go, Joe. Here's your first one.
All right.
Say a Florida man was arrested for trading iguanas for crystal meth on Craigslist.
I'm going to have to go with true.
That's fake.
That's real. Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. That's true.
All right, here's another one. A Florida man threw a live gator in a Wendy's drive-through window.
True. I've seen that one.
Okay, all right, that's true. All right, here we go. Another one here. A Florida inmate insists that syringes pulled from his rectum weren't his.
What? But Florida inmate insists syringes?
Yes, pulled from his butt were not his. It's Florida, man. It could go either way.
I know. Okay, you know what? I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to say 3 out of 3, and I'm going to say that's also true.
That is also true.
Yes. So that was okay. Yeah, it was real. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
I thought for sure you were about to get me with that one, but I wanted to reverse my answer. I don't know.
And just so you know, too, Joe, there's not an even amount of real and fakes.
Oh, so I can't game this on like 50-50.
No, there's more real ones in here than fake ones. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. All right.
All right, here we go. A Florida man evades arrest by diving into Lake Okeechobee.
Yeah.
Only to be eaten by an alligator.
I mean, okay. So if I just go on the fact that if you're making these up, I have to start using other clues now. If you're making these up, I'm going to hope that that's real because you weren't ready to pronounce that lake name. So I'm going to say that's true.
It's fake. I made it up. I botched the lake name on purpose. It's Okeechobee.
That's good cover, though. That's good cover.
Oh my God.
So I've guessed true 4 times now.
I know. All right, here we go. Another one. A Florida man also evading arrest by by cartwheeling away from the cops.
Just
Just
cartwheels?
doing cartwheels to evade police. What do you think?
Going 5 for 5. I'm saying it's true.
That is true.
Yes. Okay. So where do I sit right now by going 5
I don't
out of
even
5
know.
true?
I haven't been keeping score.
So I missed the first one, got the second one, got the third one, missed the fourth, got the fifth. So I'm 3 out of 5 right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here's another one. All right. A Florida man hides in a chest, uses a whiteboard to evade deputies. On said whiteboard says, Johnny Yates does not live here.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's too ridiculous for you to make up. It's just, there's no way that stream of consciousness ever entered your head.
So what are you
I'm going
saying?
to go with true.
That is true.
Okay, good.
Dude, he hid in a box and then wrote on a whiteboard that says
That's
he doesn't
wild.
live there. Like the cops are outside scratching their head. Well, I guess he doesn't live here. That's hilarious, dude.
Damn it, Johnson. Let's get back to the station.
All right, here's another one. A Florida man was arrested for riding an ostrich naked down the street.
Okay. You might finally get me to reverse my answer because I don't think you could logically. Can you? It was arrested for riding on the ostrich?
For riding an ostrich while naked down the street. Go ahead. What do you think?
Okay.
What do you got?
I'm going to say that's false.
That is fake. Well done.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm glad I switched on that one because I was going to really kick myself if that was true.
All right, here we go. Here's another one. A Florida man attempted to launch himself to space using fireworks, but lands himself in the ER with third-degree burns. What do you think?
I mean, okay, I know what I want to say because it just doesn't make it. I'm going to say that's fake.
That is fake. Well done.
All right. Okay. Oh my God. Because look, there's a lot of dumb Florida man out there, right?
Dude, I would not put this past somebody.
No, I wouldn't. And I had to think about it. That's the bad part. I had to think about it.
I even worded it nice so it sounded legit.
No, I went to fake just because of the logistics, but definitely thought about it.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. A Florida man uses a plane to draw a 20-mile penis over Florida on flight radar.
Well, okay, so I thought that this really happened. I do legitimately think I thought I saw something to the effect of this last year. However, you said radar. I don't know if I'm just going to say true anyway. Tell me if that's true or not.
It's true. He did.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude. The greater blank space.
The greater blank space theory strikes again.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's the sky or the wall in a bathroom. Someone's going to draw on it.
Yeah. You know what I assume is going to happen before too long as well? You know, when you're on like Google Maps or whatever, and it shows you where the bodies of water are, you know, like it shows you lakes and ponds and whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
I feel like somebody somewhere is going to dig out a pond in their yard if they have enough property in the shape of a penis. So it shows up on everyone's Google map. I see it coming, man. I know it's going to happen.
It would not surprise me in the least.
Me neither.
It would. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't surprise me.
And it would, dude, you would make national news. Like it would be hilarious. People would drive by. Oh my God. It'd be so good.
It would be everyone would be copying it off of Google Maps and sharing it around.
Yeah. All right, here's let me see. I got two more. All right. Wrong one. Okay, here we go. A Florida man gives police exonerating dash cam footage following a traffic accident. He accidentally includes video of him robbing a beauty store. So he busted himself.
Okay, so even if it's fake, that sounds so legitimate. I've just got to say true.
That is actually true. Yes. Well
okay.
done.
I'm like, that is exactly something that would happen. Maybe not even in Florida. Like I could just totally see that happening.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go, Joe. One more.
Okay.
A Florida man posts a video documenting 6 months worth of farts at work and is fired immediately.
God, that's just so terrible. It's not.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say it's fake.
That is actually true.
Wow. I had a feeling it was true, but I wanted to go fake because I didn't think somebody would have the energy to do that for 6 months. But yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Or she, whoever it was.
It was, dude, totally a guy.
No, it was a dude,
Yeah,
right?
it was a dude. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't sniff that one out, Joe. Oh,
wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Sorry. All right.
Nice.
All right, man. Do we have anything else for this show? Are we done?
After that, I think we have to stop.
All right. Well, that was fun. All right, guys. Thank you all for checking us out again, and we'll see you next Monday.
Talk to you next time.